grab a cup of coffee. Let's talk about everybody's favorite subject, of course, menopause, right? If you're on this channel, chances are you're going through menopause. Today, I want to talk about how menopause is different for Gen X. And so if you've ever found yourself thinking, wow, like this feels like a big deal to me, and I don't remember my mom or my grandma making a big deal out of this. I've been thinking about that a lot lately, and so I just wanted to make a video on it, and of course I had to dig out some research. So settle in. Before we get started, I'm Dr. Nancy. I'm the Midwife of Midlife. I'm a psychologist, but I do have a private practice, but in this online coaching biz, I create resources to help women like you use the challenges of midlife and menopause as a catalyst to make changes that are really going to up-level your life and help you to live into your 90s and beyond with vibrancy and fulfillment and all of that good stuff. So if that appeals to you and you resonate with that, click subscribe, like this video, do make a comment. I'd love to see you in the comments and know who's watching these videos. But let's get right to it. So how is menopause different for Gen X? And I'm just going to talk about some of the things. Obviously, there's a lot of things. What is Gen X anyway? If you don't know, I'm thinking most of you probably know this, but just to be really clear, what I'm referring to with Gen X is women born between 1965 and 79. So that's us gals who are between the ages of 45 to 59 right now. And if you're in that age range, you're most likely experiencing some kind of midlife challenge. Maybe if you're 59 or 60, you kind of feel like you're through it. And if you're 45 or even a little bit younger, maybe you're just starting to feel some of the early signs. So we've got the full range in here. So I was doing some research for this, and I found out that I started looking at life expectancy data and the age of menopause. And it turns out that like in 1922, so that was, arguably 2 generations ago, the average lifespan was 77. And our average age of menopause was 57. So that was only really a 20-year gap post-menopause that we even had to worry about or think about or deal with. And any of you who have a 20-year-old, you know how fast 20 years goes by. It's not long. Now, in 2024, our life expectancy for women just shot up. It is now 89 years old, which means I looked it up, we have like a 20% chance of making it to age 100. That's probably the highest. Can you imagine if 20% of the population made it to 100? That's a lot. And our menopause age is not going up. It's actually going down. In 1922, as I said, the average age of menopause was 57. Now the average age of menopause is actually 49.9. Like, why would that be? Our life expectancy is getting longer, so why wouldn't our age of menopause be getting higher, right? It made no sense. So of course I had to look it up. And just to be clear, the average age of menopause is associated with all kinds of negative health risks and health outcomes. So it's a pretty concerning statistic. So the lower your age of menopause, the more your risk increases for things like cardiovascular disease, osteoporosis, depression, which of course as a psychologist, it's the mental health aspects that I'm most interested in, and premature death. So like, this is a real problem. So why would this be? Well, it turns out I found this study from the NIH, and it turns out that it is directly related to the chemicals in our environment called endocrine-disrupting chemicals, which, unless you've been living under a rock, you have probably heard of. Pesticides, phthalates in our cosmetics, the PFAS chemicals, the forever chemicals that are in our carpets. I've been doing a deep dive lately on, the forever chemicals in our workout gear that are apparently absorbed into our skin. Like, I thought I was doing pretty good. And then, learned all this stuff that like my Lululemon leggings that I spent $100 on are somehow disrupting my endocrine system and causing my menopause to start early or something like that. It's kind of crazy. So if this gives you an incentive to like go read all your labels of all your cosmetics and cleaning products and get rid of anything that has phthalates or any harmful chemicals in it, then I feel like this video has lived its purpose. So that's a major reason, and like a researched reason of how our menopause is different. And that's only addressing the age of menopause. It's not really addressing anything related to our subjective experience of menopause. But if these endocrine disruptors, like hormones, affect literally everything in our body. It literally affects the thoughts that we think. Depression, anxiety, mood swings, hot flashes, like literally all the symptoms of menopause are related to our hormones. And if we have external chemicals disrupting our natural function, like who knows the extent to which this is changing our experience of menopause. And it's really concerning to me. The other thing that has been really on my mind lately is how the phones are our smartphones and our constant barrage of information on our nervous systems. Like, how is that impacting today's menopause versus our parents' menopause? We're really the first generation to go through menopause exposed to this level of toxicity, this level of toxic news, and also this level of constant stimulation from our electronic devices. And it's really hard to determine how that's impacting our menopause journey. So that's kind of what I've been thinking about lately, and kind of the negative impact, and why you might find yourself really experiencing menopause in a dramatic way when you don't really remember your mom talking about it. First of all, even if she was having a dramatic experience of menopause, she might not have talked about it because it was kind of a taboo subject, even like a generation ago. I feel like the good news is that people are talking about menopause more, and awareness is being raised about the issues of menopause, at least in small ways. And there's a lot more research being done on this stage in the human female life cycle. And as we move along, that information is going to be really, really valuable. Even today, like, 10 years ago, hormone replacement therapy was thought of as, oh, you shouldn't get on that because it's going to cause cancer. Whereas that has been largely disproven. And hormone replacement therapy can really change our lives in menopause and make it so much easier to deal with. But also, the research is coming out that shows that hormone replacement therapy actually reduces all-cause mortality in women by like 30%. So it insulates us from like some of the long-term consequences of this early menopause that we're experiencing because of the chemical overload that we're having. The other thing that I've been thinking about is just our culture as a generation is a little bit different. I mean, we're called Gen X to begin with because of this marketing book that was released in the 90s that like traditional marketing strategies that were used on the population suddenly didn't work on our generation. And I think that speaks to how we tend to see things differently than previous generations. And we tend to like want to do things differently and better than the status quo. And so I feel like our generation might be at this place where we're really wanting to make kind of a huge generational shift in how we approach menopause and aging that maybe hasn't been done in the past. And that's kind of one of the reasons why this channel is so important to me, is because I feel like I really want to be one of the voices that is talking about this subject, because I think it's so vitally important. We're starting to realize that this midlife period from 45 to 60 is a period of dramatic transformation. And it is a complete like a rewiring of our neural network, similar to what we went through in adolescence. We're kind of pruning out the neural networks that we no longer need, that were necessary for parenting and child rearing duties. We're getting rid of those to make room for neural networks that are more designed to step into our leadership role, to step into our power. And I really want to help you do that. And I want to help myself. I'm on this journey too. With you. I don't have it all figured out. I just want to talk about it and I want to think about it. And so that's what this channel is, and that's what this video is about. I feel like our generation has a tremendous untapped potential to go through this transition in a different way, so that we kind of rewire the way society thinks about aging, especially aging as women. And hopefully helps us to step into, our full capacity as beings, our untapped potential that maybe we feel has laid dormant as we were taking care of other people and parenting and being in that primary parent role. Now we can set that aside and really tune into what is our most authentic expression, and how can we stop playing small and really step into the powerful truth of who we are. So if that resonates with you, I'd love to have you as part of this community. It's certainly going to be a lot easier to do it as part of a community than to do it on your own. And I'm creating courses and different things to help support you along the way from a psychological and spiritual perspective. I think there's a lot of voices out there to help you with the physical that I am eternally grateful for. But I'm not seeing a lot of voices talking about this as being a massive internal transformational time. And so I hope that you will join along with me. And I hope to see you in the comments. Let me know how this video landed with you and what your thoughts are about this. See you soon. See you in the next video. Bye. Mwah.